I'm harvesting by hand. You can prune your trees however you want. You can prune them to be accessible to you. This tree is pruned to overhang the driveway. So if someone who was using a wheeled mobility aid wanted to access picking olives from this tree, they could do that. Thinking about your future needs, thinking about the different community that you want to welcome into your garden are all ways that you can create creative parameters when you're choosing how to take care of your garden and how to design it. I'm really trying to embrace those limitations as creative parameters that actually help me make decisions rather than things that I find stifling. Hi my friends, welcome back to Disabled Farm School. If you're new here, I'm Rachel. I'm a chronically ill and disabled farmer, gardener, and sustainable designer who is basically shifting my career to try to relearn how to do those things with my disabilities and chronic illnesses and the limitations and opportunities they provide. So what that looks like is this channel, and it's not a tutorial channel, it's a like come along with me and let's see what happens kind of channel. And it is a thing that I have just launched. So if you aren't subscribed and you're watching this, I would absolutely be delighted if you wanted to subscribe. Today on the farm, which by the way isn't a farm, it's an apartment that I rent that I have the great good luck and privilege of having a backyard that I'm allowed to garden in. Oh, that was exhausting. I'm done. That's the whole video. I am super jet lagged. I just got home a few days ago from visiting family for many weeks. It is the middle of winter, which is my favorite season where I live because it's the rainy season and everything is so green. So I'm feeling really grateful and excited about the coming year. I'm so excited to be starting this channel. I did a few videos for Vlogmas to sort of test out if I can do this with my limitations, and I think I can. I learned how to edit video. I think I can do it. I think I can do a pretty much weekly video here on YouTube, plus one monthly video on my, what I call my member village, which is basically like a Patreon, but it's hosted on my own website. You can check that out if you want to. The link will be down below. It's racheleconomy.com. And that's just like a behind the scenes chat video. Absolutely no pressure. But right now, my thing that I'm really excited about is being back on the land, back in my apartment. I thought I left the garden way more of a mess. You'll see that it's a mess. Yeah, it's just like really sweet to be here. That said, I feel like trash. I'm so jet lagged. I have a set of disabilities that like really like to hang out at sort of the intersection of neurological and endocrine and then sort of structural. I talk faster when I'm tired because I want to get to the end of the sentence so I can go lay down. So I wasn't going to film this week. Except I really want to play in the garden and I really want to play in the kitchen, and I also really need to rest. So I'm going to take you with me while I do some combination of those things. So this week on the farm, what I'm going to attempt are still olives on one tree. The storms have knocked down all the other olives. I think I'm going to try to harvest them. I've never processed olives before. I've wanted every year to do it and I've missed my opportunity. So I'm going to go see if I can what I can find on the tree. And if they're all rotten, then at least we'll have hung out with a cool tree. A bunch of willow, weeping willow branches, just little ones, have fallen in the storms into the gully by the side of the road. So I'm gonna forage those. I started a new sourdough starter a couple days ago. I'm gonna feed my new starter and see how it's doing. Okay, I think that's all the things that I'm gonna try to do. I don't know that any of them are gonna get finished. Some of them might not even get started. The dog is also jet lagged. She's sleeping. I'm going to see if I can. Every time I turn a camera on her, she's like, no paparazzi. And she says that, and then she puts her sunglasses on and runs away. We woke up. Okay, let's go outside. Something I don't really know how to balance on this channel is that, as you've noticed, the more exhausted I get, the chattier I get, because I can't track or filter. So like, the videos when I feel the worst might be just like way too much talking and not enough doing. But also, is that an ableist, like an internalized ableism thing? Like, sometimes you can talk, but you can't do. And like, why is that a thing to apologize for? I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I'm tired. I'm already becoming light intolerant. You can see I'm just like closing my eyes at the window slowly. Let's get outside and then back inside and back to bed. From the front meadow orchard thing. It's actually so lovely out here. So I've stashed rest spots where I can have my legs horizontal in a lot of different places that I garden around the property where I rent my apartment. So this is the front meadow that has a lot of plum trees in it. So in the summer, early summer, late spring, do plum harvests in here, but I also like to bring the dog down here so she can get exercise when I'm not feeling well. And the truth is, I'm really not feeling well today. Went and got those willows. That activity sent me and my heart rate through the roof, which, if you're not familiar with pots, it's not that aerobic activity is a problem. Actually, my heart rate goes down when I start doing actual consistent aerobic activity. It's not anxiety. My heart rate actually goes down when I'm stressed and anxious. It is blood pooling. It's the blood pooling in my feet when I'm upright, when I'm particularly symptomatic, when I'm upright but not moving very much. So when I'm standing or sitting in a chair with my feet far below me and I'm not moving around very much, so the muscles in my legs aren't moving the blood, then my heart rate goes up because my heart's trying to move the blood instead to my brain. But yeah, so it's not like super dangerous, but I'm just super nauseous. I have a headache, very light sensitive. Anyway, we got some willow. I think we're gonna try to get some olives and then maybe have another rest. On a day like today, I have to rest literally not even between each activity. Like, I have to sit and sometimes lay down, try to get my feet and at least my feet and my hips on the same level, but sometimes like full, like just try to get your heart and your head and your feet on the same level. If you also need to rest while you're gardening or DIYing, what do you do to make sure that that is really easily accessible? Do you have like a set spot that you rest? Do you set a timer? Let me know in the comments, because I'm always looking for new ideas, and I bet other people are too. I like to have a hammock as available as possible at all times, but in the rainy season that's tricky. So I'm thinking about other ways to rest. What's up, Miss Junie? Oh. So this is our friend the olive tree, and it does have a few olives left on it, and I'm gonna see if I can grab a few. Junie's down here hanging out. I can't see anything. Okay, so this is my DIY harvest tote. It's some scrap fabric from a pair of sheets that ripped and a cut open gallon milk carton. You can do it as a sash or as a belt. Oh, and I'm gonna put on an apron. Go. Is that a secret juniper I see? So something I'm thinking about as I'm harvesting, first of all, I am tracking my heart rate. And I'm being careful of my neck because I am working over my head. And that made me think about accessibility and fruit harvest and a couple of things. One thing I really appreciate about this tree is that it's pruned to drape, almost to weep, super low, meaning that a lot of these are accessible to me without reaching over my head, and more would have been if I'd come earlier in the season. Another thing I was thinking about is you can prune your trees however you want, within reason. You have to, take care of the tree and not overdo it or underdo it, but you can prune them to be accessible to you. So this tree is pruned to overhang the driveway. So if someone who was using a wheeled mobility aid wanted to access picking olives from this tree, they could do that. Thinking about where you put your container gardens, but also how you plan the height of different things in your garden, not only for your access needs now, but for your kids' heights, whether you want them to access that thing or it's not safe for them to access. Thinking about your future needs, thinking about the different community that you want to welcome into your garden are all ways that you can create creative parameters when you're choosing how to take care of your garden and how to design it. And I'm really trying to embrace those limitations as creative parameters that actually help me make decisions rather than things that I find stifling. Relatedly, I'm harvesting by hand. There's a lot of more efficient ways to harvest olives, and this one is keeping me paying attention to pacing. It's slowing me down. It means that I'm not harvesting olives that are up at the top of the tree, so I'm leaving those for wildlife. There's also a ton on the ground for wildlife. If I was commercially harvesting, I might harvest them a different way. It depends on what your needs are. For me, it's slowing me down enough to notice that even though I don't feel well at all today, and my heart rate is actually okay right now, but I'm all over the place with symptoms and I'm gonna have to go back to bed at some point, and the light is way too bright. I still feel really happy when I'm doing this. And it makes me feel just slightly better, but it also makes me, it's like not forced false positivity. I actually enjoy it. And that is huge on a day when my physiological state is inherently uncomfortable. I'm not forcing myself to do something that's not within my capacity. But, you know, I think I get nervous to go out and try to do stuff because I'm afraid I won't be able to do it, or I'll overdo it and cause worse symptoms. And that's why I get so chatty at the beginning of the video. And it's like, I should have just come straight out and not talked at all. So maybe when you're seeing this, I edited out the talking, because it's really just being out and being in it. That's sort of the whole point for me, is that I've found that actually helps me, not just psychologically, but also physically, that I do a little bit better across the board when I'm actually pacing myself, but actually gardening, actually out here. So I'm gonna keep doing that. And I'm gonna keep trying to see what works and rest when I need to and bring you along with me. It's really peaceful harvesting the olives. It's a peace tree. It's a tree of peace, historically. A tree of my ancestors are Mediterranean or Greek on one side. So it also feels cool to spend time with not just a tree, but like a process that my ancestors would have done much more efficiently, I should add. They would have been experts. Some of them were from Kalamata. So they definitely would have known more about this than I do. And yeah, it still feels, it's like comforting in that way. Junie says time for a water break. Yeah. Okay, we're back inside. We are in that part of winter where it's boiling hot in the sun and very cold indoors. So I am in my parka. And by parka, I mean, this is a vintage ski jacket I got off Etsy from like 1986. So we're about the same age. This is my millennial buddy here. There are 3 or 4 things that if they don't get done today, mean that work I previously did will be wasted, and food will be wasted, and animals will be less than ideally treated. So I'm gonna prioritize those 3 things. First, I gotta feed the sourdough. I'm gonna do that right now. Then I need to, my understanding with olives is that you need to leach them. Like I said, I haven't processed them before. I'm gonna score them. So yeah, and I've I've got some water, and then I'm gonna put them in the water in the fridge and then change the water every day. I think for 4 days. I'll check my recipe. I need to feed the chickens. Yeah. I get so bummed, you know? I really, really want to do these things. They make me so happy. And I want to film them. And my body today is like, no. Which is totally reasonable and understandable. It was even somewhat predictable, but all of these things, I guess some of them aren't time sensitive, but like if we have another big storm, that's the end of the olives on the branches. So I wanted to get them, and I'm really glad I did. It was so lovely harvesting the olives. Hopefully they become edible. Hopefully I get all the way through the process of brining them. But regardless, I really enjoyed that. Oh, yes. Now we are talking. Look at that. That is day 3. And that is bubbling. Oh, baby. Finally smells sour instead of rotten. So we know the good bacteria are taking over. Oh. Yes. Dude, I'm so stoked about this. It looks so happy. It's so frothy. I'll feed it for a couple more days and then it'll be bread time. I haven't made bread in so long. I have done so many different like anti-inflammatory diets, and I had to do low FODMAP for a while for GI reasons. And there's just been a lot of times where I wasn't eating bread because of a protocol that I was doing, but I'm not actually gluten intolerant. But anyway, I can eat bread again. So I'm gonna make some sourdough. Juniper, you need a nail trim, girl. I can't, you can see it in my face. Like the rush of joy that seeing that the sourdough starter is working gave me, and the like brief energy and feeling better in my body. Like joy and pleasure have real physiological effects, and that doesn't mean to force false positivity on disabled and chronically ill people. Don't do that. Or on mentally ill people, which is one type of chronic illness. Don't do that. But rather like cultivate the small joys where you can. It does have an impact. And if that's just watching a video, like that has, you're doing something good for your body. Your body and your brain are in the same, it's your body is made, your brain is made of your body. Things that make you happy, like that's a thing that's happening in your body. But my God, is that sexy? Look at that. Blub, 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 blub. It's alive. I'm really not feeling good. Okay, so I'm gonna score the olives. How's my heart rate doing now? Okay, the olives are in the fridge. Juniper and I are gonna go feed the chickens, and then I'm going back to bed. If you're new and you wanna subscribe, I'd love to have you stick around. New videos pretty much every week on Friday. You can also head over to my member village over at racheleconomy.com. That's basically a Patreon. It's just hosted on my website. A little behind the scenes video every month. Thank you for joining me. I'm really excited about actually doing olives this year, and I hope if you need to rest, you go rest. And yeah, stick around if you want. I'll be back next Friday with another video, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Remember, gardening is for everybody. We're just trying to figure out how together.